I've been just cutting back the Nepeta behind me because the very first flush of flowers, those really the tallest flower heads, they were really gone over already. And doing that now would do a couple of things. First of all, it would get the plant itself, or those multiple plants that I have planted in a row, into shape again, because of otherwise with all these real long flower heads plus the rain, wind, it's sort of flattening the overall plant down. And I cut it back about a third to up to even a half, especially around the walkway areas, to give obviously a bit of space there. And then also it's actually going to reinvigorate the plant, so it starts sending out smaller side shoots, and there'll be more smaller flowers on it. I can already see the bumblebees have found some of the flowers that are still left on it, and in no time yeah, there'll be plenty of new flowers out again. And then whatever foliage is going to grow from now onwards, I'm going to let all that then go well into the autumn, winter, and then the overall plant is going to be cut back right in the middle of winter, or even very, very early spring, when I just see those little shoots starting to come up again. But today I'm trying to do the same then with chamomile as well, because the chamomile is an annual version that I have, and that's well over as well, and it does self-seed so much. So I'm going to get that out of my way. I'm also hoping to shred all of these prunings down with a little, just an electric shredder, and use all that mulch then in the compost and get that composted down. But I even haven't harvested my garlic yet, so that's definitely on the agenda today. And there's a couple of lettuces as well that have gone over into seed, and I have plenty of seed packets of lettuce still, so I'm not going to try to grow them on and try to get seed out of those, because overall with the month of July now, I've really taken it easy in the garden. I've nearly let it go a little bit because I've just had so many jobs inside the house. The weather has been really mixed, but I've really had to focus more internally in the house of painting and wallpapering and all that. So really I've had to take a little step back from the garden, and obviously I haven't been putting out those regular weekly videos because of that either. And I'm hoping that I'll get back on track now, but you never know, summer is still on, so we'll see what happens. And because I've had that little bit of a break from gardening jobs, I haven't really kept up with successional sowings or anything. Now I did pick up a couple of vegetable plants from the garden centre. I picked up a little tray of beetroot, a tray of kale, and a tray of purple sprouting broccoli. So at least I have something to put into ground when I clear some of the beds. And yeah, then I do want to harvest maybe another small bucket of shallots today, maybe even 2 buckets of shallots, and tidy some of the potato pots up. But otherwise the main job is just get those plants that, at least you know it's starting raining again. Well, there's these kind of showers. Some are heavier than others, so let's hope that that won't stay around now. But the main agenda is to get all those plants that I've gone over, get them out, shred it up, tidy the place up a bit, and do a few harvests as well. I've tidied up buckets of the potatoes where the shaws had all dried up, and they're really just the Charlottes, the second earlies, and then some of the very first early ones as well, the big buckets. But because there's just a couple of green leaves still in the pots, I'm not going to harvest them. But I've taken myself number 2 and number 3 of Charlotte, and I just want to get potatoes out of those for the dinner, and hopefully there'll be enough there for a couple of days. And yeah, there's nice little potatoes coming out of it. Month of July actually has continued to be cool. There hasn't been any heat waves. There has been so much rain mixed in with these kind of sunny spells. It's been quite windy as well. So it hasn't been an easy season. So I sort of didn't feel too guilty from taking a little step back from the garden. And some other jobs just need to get done as well. I can't be in 2 places at the same time. But in a way then, that has also allowed me to just observe a bit of the garden, or how our lifestyle perhaps is changing a bit, and what I can do, and still continue just looking at what we are really eating, and just trying to plan better or a bit differently maybe for next year. But some of the, obviously, vegetables are definite ones that I do want to continue with, and obviously potatoes are definitely one of those as well, so far anyway. Yeah, that's it. That seems to be it out of the 2 buckets. No, there was not that much, but there's plenty. Well, for the size of them, we love Charlottes in small size. Oh, where do you go? But the potatoes look lovely, really nice and clean. Very little scab, only a tiny bit of scab, which is absolutely fine. You can eat that. And we always eat them with the peels on. But yeah, lovely size. And that's 2 small buckets. They're probably like 10-litre buckets where the harvest came from. Now, before I came to the garlic bed here, and I'm just taking out the garlic bulbs now, I decided to take the net off the brassica bed. So that's the bed where I had the cabbage worm infestation in, and I mainly wanted to just get the radish flower heads cut down, because some of them had gone to seed there, but obviously there were a couple of turnips there as well that I hadn't harvested, and boy was one of them huge. No, I left a lot of the others still there, but yeah, that was huge. So that's going to definitely be cooked up. Now in the garlic, I have hardneck garlics here, and I have elephant garlic, and they're a little bit overdue, but oh my goodness, I'm delighted. I perhaps left the harvesting of the garlic a little bit too late. I'd say they probably could have been harvested a week ago at least, but that's okay. I'll get them out now. There's a couple of really nice ones here as well, and the elephant garlic is looking amazing. It just has been so wet, and I just left them to grow a little bit longer here. So I have 2 planters, and they were planted at the end of last year. Very end, I think it was even, was it November? Usually I leave it like until December, but I think last year, no, I did it in November, a little bit earlier. They're coming out. I'll do the same now on the other planter as well. Yeah, I'd say these tiny ones could be basically even perhaps eaten as they are fresh with the potatoes. So yeah, if there's nothing else to eat, at least there'll be garlic and potatoes. There's a distinctive difference between the garlic harvests, and there should be 2 different varieties, but maybe they're all the same because they're all beautiful in the purple colours. But definitely the first planter, these are the size of the cloves, which are tiny. So there's only one, really, 1.5. Well, okay, so let's say up to 3 of them that are semi-decent, and then these are really poor. The elephant garlic across the board of the 2 planters, beautiful, really nice sized ones. Now I didn't peel actually any of them, except like the hose itself took off the outer layer, which had started to sort of get mushy itself. Oh, the planter I started to harvest out of first, absolutely beautiful, beautiful garlics out of them. And then some of them are splitting and very exposed, but those ones, I'd say, again, we can eat them straight away as they come. But these now would have to go to dry, and I'll put them into the timber shed out of the rain, but in plenty of fresh air. The same with elephant garlic as well. They're really bursting out of their skin, but these were grown out of the cloves I saved from last year's harvest. So like, I only have to be delighted with this. Absolutely amazing. And if I could make this nearly like perennial, I'd be even more delighted, because it's much milder in flavour, so they're delicious. Yeah, so that's a great outcome. Now it looks like the sun is not going to be with us much longer. There's very dark clouds coming over, but it gives an immense pleasure when you can when you start a job and you can finish it fully. So I am just delighted that I cleared off those prunings. Obviously I was able to cut back the chamomile as well and shred all those prunings, and they're all going to go into the compost heap now. And then the garlic is out of ground, and we have a little bit of potatoes as well. But also in the greenhouse now, some of the tomatoes have finally started to colour up. So these are the sweet million varieties, and only a couple of them, but once they start, they should be a continuous supply. And some sweet peppers have been colouring up as well, but slugs have attacked a lot of them, make them rot altogether. So these I do want to remove and put them into compost. One of the jobs I have been able to do in this kind of a rainy weather has been just taking off the side shoots of the tomatoes. So I've been able to keep on top of that and keep tying them in. But yeah, it's at least good to see that some of the tomatoes are starting to colour up now.